If you believe every position should be commission-based with unlimited earning potential, no matter how hard you work, you might really like this story where JP Haggarty was working in sales at the Ford dealership and was just restricted. So he now has made in 3.5 months, 5 times more than he was making in any single month of that Ford dealership. He's done a $35,000 deal. He's done a $29,000 deal. He's done 6 deals total with the average being $25,000 finder's fee just for finding a rundown house. So listen to this episode if this resonates with you. This is the podcast for 10xing your income and replacing your W-2. My name's David Lecko, and I created a process that's helped people close 10,000 deals in all 50 states that turned into the software platform DealMachine. And my co-host is Ryan Haywood, who actually took a 14-day challenge back in 2019, and now he's done 422 deals. So we're going to lead you through this exciting story. Can't wait for you to hear it. So JP, you made $35,000 on your first wholesale deal, where you just found the rundown house and you pass it off, made a finder's fee, right? Pass it off to an investor.
Yep.
How did you find that deal?
So it was actually the situation where I called about a different house, and their tenants actually just got evicted to a different house that they owned, and that happened to be the house that I found. So it was kind of, going about both ways about a different house.
So it was an owner. So first of all, you found a rundown house. You got the phone number of the owner, and then you called, and they're like, well, the house you're calling about's fine, but I have another house where I just had to evict the tenants.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
All right. So you got the address. Then what'd you do? Because you didn't even know what house this is.
So I was actually in the area. I drove for dollars to get that house, with DealMachine.
So this means driving around looking for anything that looks run down.
Yeah, driving for dollars, that it's a pretty well-known thing, driving around looking for the rundown houses, marking them, either writing them down on a piece of paper or using DealMachine to mark them.
Yeah.
And just skip grace and cold call, or if that's the channel of marketing you want to choose.
Yeah. So what did you say when they answered the phone?
It was more just, a conversation. Hey, I was looking for the owner of this house, and they're like, yeah, this house is all good. The tenants are good, but this one just got evicted. So I would love for you to, come take a look if you're really interested. And we met over at the house that day.
Simple. I know you're a student of Zach Booth's, and Zach is very direct when he's door knocking or calling, and it takes a lot of the pressure off the way he does it. He just says, do you want an offer on your house, right? And they either say yes, and he continues, or they say no, and he just gets out of there and talks to the next person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Time's very valuable, especially to a man like Zach. So.
Well, okay. Dang. So what happened next? She said, she wanted to get an offer. How did you even know how much to offer on the house?
So basically I was running my comps, and they actually wanted $77,500, and I knew at that price it was going to be tight. It was going to be tight for me, and he was a cool guy. So, we went back and forth, and I ended up getting him down $27,500. And I think basically right there is my negotiating was the reason why that I got such big profit margin on that deal.
So the deal, the whole thing, he was selling you for $27,000?
No. He wanted the house for $77,500.
Okay.
And I got him down to $50,000. So it was that $27,500 in the middle. And then I ended up selling it to an investor for $85,000.
And what market is?
What was the negotiation like? What did you say to get him down on this price?
He kind of understood. I didn't make him, but he walked the property with me. He saw everything that was wrong, and I kind of used that, kind of drive that into him. Like, hey, like I need to make money, and I'm sure you know that, but I need to come down on the price. What works for you? What's the best price that you think you could do for me? He was like, well, like 60,000. And then I came back with like, I'd be more in the range of the $48,000 to $50,000 range. How does that sound? And then he was like, all right, well, I'll do 50. And then we moved on from there. But yeah.
Oh, well, that's great. Good job. What market is this? It's a pretty cheap house, right?
Yeah, it's a cheap house. It was kind of a unicorn, that kind of pricing on a house. You don't find those often.
Right.
But it's just south of Charlotte, kind of in the Weddington, Monroe area.
Okay.
Pretty cool market.
Okay, gotcha. So then what did you do once you had this thing under contract? Where did you get a contract?
Zach provided to me through his program that he runs. He did a great job with everything and getting me that first deal, and he actually, provided all those contracts, the purchase and sale agreement, also the assignment contract, everything like that, and just explained it very well. And there were a few tweaks that I had to make to it, just because every deal is unique, but I got the contracts from him.
Interrupting this episode in case you're looking for a contract, you can find the contract I use to close deals at DealMachine.com/contract. And there's 5 things you need for a basic contract. You need a price, you need a seller, you need a buyer, you need a date, and you need an address. So this contract's a little bit longer than that, but it is short because that helps somebody that's in a distressed situation feel more comfortable and confident with what they're signing, as opposed to the 17-page document your state typically uses. So officially, I'm going to say definitely contact your attorney, but I thought this would be helpful for an example and entertainment purposes for you to see what I've been using. DealMachine.com/contract. Okay, got it. Yeah, so what did you do next once you had this thing under contract? Because then you needed to find a buyer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I had an email list that I had built over a couple months, an email blast list. I sent out emails. I posted in Facebook groups, Craigslist, stuff like that, Facebook Marketplace, and got a lot of hit back because of how cheap the house really was. And then I set up a 2-day inspection period. So I had anywhere between, 8 to 12 investors on both days come through, look at the house, and give me an offer on the price, or on the house, I'm sorry.
And it was vacant.
And
evicted somebody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had the keys, I put a lockbox on it, and I'll just show up in the morning, and investors would come through all day and just take a look and shoot offers at me.
Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And then what the highest offer was $88,000. Did you have an asking price?
I started at 65. 65 I started at. Yeah, because
So you would have made like $10,000.
I would have made 15 on that.
Okay.
Because I got it at 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But then they bid it up higher. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. That's another thing that Zach preaches, to what you think you can get, go a little lower, because then more people will be attracted, and then it ultimately, it builds up.
Yeah. So, and that's very nice that you had them all come at the same time, because they could see there are other people who want this property, right?
Mm-hmm.
Smart.
Yeah.
Well, you made it sound so easy. Did you struggle with anything along the way?
Yeah. I mean, getting to that first one, is every wholesalers or investors, that's where everybody struggles, getting that first one. Because once I've gotten my first one, over the past month or so after that, I've been rolling, and it's been easier because I'm more comfortable and more confident in myself. But getting that first one was really hard,
How long did you start cold calling before you got the deal?
I want to say about a month and a half.
Okay. Gee, that's not too long. That's not too.
No, it's not too long.
How
but
many calls were you rolling though? Were you calling every day?
Yeah. So basically, once I got through the first stages of Zach's, of course, I was going straight into action. I was driving for dollars on the weekends, and then when I got home from work, I would cold call all the way up until 9 o'clock ish. I got home at like 5, so I'd cold call a good amount from the list that I built over the weekends.
Got it. What am I missing here? Okay, once you found the buyer, then did you get like an assignment contract to make sure that you got paid the difference?
Yeah. So all that, as soon as you get your contracts, you send it over to your attorney. Different states have different rules. So some states are attorney states, and some states are just title company states. and mine's attorney state, so I just sent it over to my attorney. Both contracts, they get everything right, information sheets, everything like that, get it ready for close, and then once closing comes, they just cut you a check for the amount on the assignment, the assignment contract. You write on there, how much you're going to make.
What were you doing before wholesaling, by the way?
So I was actually a college athlete. I played basketball for Eckerd College. It's in St. Petersburg, Florida. Some unfortunate things happened. I had to come home, and then I started working at Ford. We had a friend there, so I got a job there, and I knew that I wanted to do something better because I knew I could, and so I got into this.
So when you said something better, you just describe that to me, because Ford is a great brand.
Yeah, Ford's a great brand, and I respect them and everybody who's in that at the dealership. But for me, I've always just knew that I could do something. I don't know. I don't want to say better, but like kind of better in a way where I feel like I'm not restricted, if that makes sense.
So higher
I'm working at
potential.
Yeah, higher income earning potential. The harder I work, the more I get rewarded. Those sort of lines, because I don't know, it just wasn't for me. Just waking up, and I respect everybody who does it, but for me, it's like I want to get up and work really hard, and then potentially, even if I don't get it, potentially have the chance to at least cash out a little higher. And that's just my mindset.
Right.
I just knew that
person. You wanted to be controlling your own destiny.
I wanted to be able to tell my girl, let's go shopping, or let's go to a nice restaurant or something like that. That those were some of the things that drove me.
How many deals have you done so far, JP?
I am on my 6th now since my first one.
The first one sounded like a cakewalk with the coaching you had. Was there anything unique about the next few deals?
No, not really. 2 out of the 5 were follow-ups that I had built over the years, and that became really important to me.
Over the years, even
that I've learned.
Years.
Oh, no. I said over the year.
Oh, okay.
Just the remainder of the year. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just follow-ups. 2 of them were follow-ups, and then just the same thing,
So basically you reached out and they kind of said yes, but not a full yes.
Right. It was
right now.
Yeah. It's some of those ones that are very hesitation, like a lot of hesitation in it. And it just takes a little bit of time. Some people, they move fast. Some people, they need more time to think about it. And you always try to push for close, but you also have to understand, where people are coming from.
So where are you going to go in 2024? Tell me about your goals.
I am not totally sure, really. Obviously, I'm trying to build something, and I'm trying to build something to where, I'm kind of expanding in a way. But as of right now, all I can really think of is keep doing what I'm doing and keep trying to maximize my profits as much as I can till I can really figure out my next step, whether that's hiring, getting a place, doing, I don't know, whatever I need to do. But I think for right now, I'm just going to keep putting my head down and working.
Got it. Are you also doing $35,000 assignment fees on these other 5 deals?
Not 35. I haven't gotten one that high, but I've gotten 2 that are close to there. So my average deal size is right around 25. So
that's amazing.
Yeah. So the first one was 35. Second one was 15. Third and fourth were both 27.5, and then this past one was 29. So
okay,
we're churning away. We're doing well right now. So,
well, I wanted to leave some room for Ryan since I kind of overloaded you when you were asking your last question. What you got?
I just wanted to go back to when you were presenting that deal to your sellers. What were some of the highlights that you gave to them did you have to give any highlights to them? Did they already know and they're just like, yep, I'll take it as is? Or did you kind of like grease the skids a little bit for them? Did you kind of give them a introduction? Hey, here's what I know about this deal. Here's the rehab. What was your presentation like?
I mean, I had pictures, obviously. I would pretty much present to them what it is. And I think that real investors and good investors, they can see through everything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If they really like the area, they really like the property, the structure, everything like that, even if it's in really bad shape, they'll look past that and still give you a good offer on the property, just because they've been doing it.
Kind of like a rehab estimate together for them?
Yeah.
What you thought it was going to take?
Yeah. I usually do that because I do know some wholesalers, they kind of stretch it, if they will, stretch it downwards so they can maximize their profits. But I think if you really evaluate the property right and you do your numbers correctly and you leave that good percentage for an investor, there should be no problems at all.
So how did you come up with your rehab number or projected number? How did you come up with it?
Well, I walked the property twice, making sure of everything. The first time I didn't have anybody to, really help me, but now I have a little more connections. So if I see something that's a little off, I'll kind of take a picture or write it down and I'll ask somebody about it. Be like, hey, how much do you think this would, repair for? And those sort of things I picked up along the way. But as I was going, especially on this first deal, I had another partner that was in Zach's program. He's located on the other side of North Carolina. And he kind of helped me out a little bit because he had been in the game for a little bit. But when you're doing that, you kind of have an idea, if it's a gut, if it's, minor repairs, or there's somewhere in the middle, Yeah. It's not too complicated to find it out. But you're going to need to
just multiply it. Like, did you have like a number? Okay, it's a full gut. So you take your square footage to come up. How did you actually calculate that number, or how did the partner calculate what they thought this was going to cost them?
I don't like to, do too much of numbers because me personally, I'm not, a contractor or anything like that. I like to give a range, of what I could possibly think it could be. And I let the investors kind of decide for themselves. So if it's lower than what I thought, great. If it's a little higher, I can work with it and I can work with the seller and figure it out. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So
what's like the top 3 areas as we wrap up that Zach has really helped you?
Top 3 areas. Wow. I would probably say, let me think about this for a second. This is a big question. I will say, confidence for sure. Zach, along the way, coming up, I was kind of scared a little bit. I was taking a big risk. I was making $1,400 a month and expending all those to try and chase this. And Zach was, persistent on keeping up with me and helping me build my confidence along the way. He kind of made me believe in a way that, I can actually do this. So that's kind of where like the confidence piece comes in. He gave me structure for sure. I'm the type of person where, if I have a question, I need someone to answer it for me, or I'm just like, my head's going to be spinning. I think he did that a lot for me. He gave me confidence. He gave me structure, and, he gave me someone to lean back on if I need any help. Let me see here. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, he's a great guy too. He was a friend along the way. So, there was a lot of things that I could say about Zach, but I would probably say all of those things combined is, who he is and how he helped me.
Amazing. Yeah, for me, Zach's actually the whole reason why in the app there's a couple of ways you can add properties. And one of them is called tap to add mode because he wanted to remove any friction at all from adding properties. So that his method was like, I don't need a photo of the property. If there's absolutely anything wrong with it, just tap it once. Now it's added to my lead list and I can move on, so that me and my drivers can actually add 100 properties in an hour, which is way different than everyone else. So the whole reason we have that ability in the app, the tap to add mode that I'm sure you use, is because of Zach. So I just wanted to give him a quick shout out. JP, congratulations on all your success. Where can we find you? Do you have an Instagram account?
I do. Yes, I do.
What is it?
It's just my my first and last name. So just lowercase JP Haggarty. That's it.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to following you as you get that 7th deal. And have you totally quit the job at Ford, by the way?
Yeah. Once I got that first one, I mean, I knew that this was something I could be really good at. And ever since then, never looked back. And I'm grateful for my opportunity there, but I'm ready for my next step forward.
Yeah. So huge congrats in order for, replacing your W-2. Right. We got to figure out a way to actually like celebrate that. I don't know what that's going to be, but man, so how many more times do you earn now from real estate wholesaling compared to your W-2?
So in my first, I'm coming up on 3.5 months.
Okay.
In my first 3.5 months, I am making almost 5 times the amount I was making.
Love that.
That is awesome.
In a year at my job.
That's amazing. Well, dude, I'm going to be following along. This episode's going to come out in a couple weeks. Thank you so much for your time, JP. And for you guys listening, one of the things that JP mentioned was, marketing that deal to buyers that he found. And Ryan, my co-host, just did an episode number 88 on how to sell your deal. And he even shows you exactly how, Ryan does it. So check that out for additional listening. And we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Thanks for listening to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.